The moments when a person's mask begins to slip. What if someone you thought you knew very well had already shown you who they truly are? And what if they did it not by saying it openly, but through a sudden change in tone, a nervous laugh, or a subject they constantly avoid? People believe they are able to hide their fears, insecurities, and true intentions. Yet a person's real nature leaks out through the spaces between their words, through silence, and through patterns of behavior they repeat without even realizing it. Once you learn to recognize these signs, you stop judging people only by what they say. Because most people do not show the world their entire true self. They show the version they believe will be accepted. Someone who was criticized for expressing emotions may grow into a person who appears cold and controlled. Someone who fears rejection may become overly friendly with everyone. In other words, the personality we see may sometimes be less about a person's true character and more about a mask they develop to protect themselves. But no mask is perfect. Under pressure, jealousy, shame, or uncertainty, it slowly begins to slip. The moment someone becomes defensive, the point at which their voice changes, or the subject they try to avoid can reveal the parts of themselves they are hiding. But sudden reactions are not the only things that expose a person. What they say about others can also offer important clues about their inner world. The qualities someone constantly criticizes in others may sometimes open a window into their own insecurities. A person who is obsessively bothered by someone else's arrogance may not feel valuable enough themselves. Someone who is focused on exposing other people's lies may be avoiding a truth in their own life. Of course, not every criticism is a confession. But when the same reaction is repeated constantly, intensely, and emotionally, there may be a deeper reason behind it. That is why simply asking, "Why do they dislike this person?" is not enough. The real question should be, why does this particular quality affect them so strongly? Because sometimes a person's reaction reveals more about them than it does about the person they are reacting to. And this information does not always appear through words. Sometimes the strongest message is hidden in silence. People can prepare the sentences they are going to say, but they are rarely able to control their silences with the same precision. A long pause, a sudden change of subject, or a short rehearsed answer to an emotional question may show that the conversation has reached a sensitive point. Someone may say, "I'm fine," while avoiding eye contact, or claim that something is unimportant while their body becomes tense. Silence does not always mean lying or guilt. It can also come from fear, shame, confusion, or an inability to explain what someone is feeling. Still, the most important part of some conversations is the part that is never spoken. Because sometimes before a person hides the truth from others, they begin by hiding it from themselves. Statements such as, "I don't care," "I'm completely over them," or "nothing affects me" may act as shields against emotions the person is not yet ready to face. They may repeat these words so often that, after a while, they begin to believe them. This creates a gap between the story they tell and the way they behave. At that point, repeated behavior matters more than words. A sentence can be prepared in advance, but it is much harder to hide a pattern that keeps returning. Someone may say, "I don't care," while their decisions, anger, or repeated attempts to return suggest the exact opposite. In the same way, behavior that appears strong is not always rooted in genuine confidence. Real confidence is calm and does not need constant proof. By contrast, someone who repeatedly talks about their success, intelligence, money, or status may be trying to silence an inner sense of inadequacy. Dominating every conversation, interrupting others, or drawing all attention toward themselves may look like strength from the outside, but underneath it may be a fear of being overlooked. That is why confidence and performance must be separated from one another. Confidence is quiet. performance constantly waits for applause. The same applies to overly certain statements. Phrases such as "I never get jealous," "I don't care what anyone thinks," or "I am always happy," may be covering a hidden doubt. Someone who is genuinely at peace does not need to prove their peace constantly. A person who truly does not care what others think does not feel the need to announce it at every opportunity. Sometimes, the more certain someone sounds, the more uncertainty they may be carrying inside. And when that uncertainty grows, the person may begin trying to control not only their words, but everything around them. Someone who tries to manage every detail of their life may actually be afraid that everything will fall apart the moment they let go of control. Their need to direct conversations, relationships, plans, and even other people's emotions may be an attempt to suppress the disorder inside them. Although this behavior may look powerful from the outside, it is often fueled by deep insecurity. The more uncertainty a person experiences, the more rigid the rules they may place around themselves. Controlling the outside world gives them a temporary sense of safety. But some people search for that safety not through control but through constant attention. In that case, the goal is no longer to manage everything. It is to make sure they are not forgotten. Someone who turns every conversation back to themselves, creates drama when things become quiet, or constantly seeks attention may appear arrogant at first. Yet beneath that behavior may be a childhood sense of invisibility. A person who did not feel seen in the past may become louder, funnier, or more dramatic as an adult in order to be noticed. The message beneath the performance may be very simple. Please don't forget me. Of course, understanding someone's wound does not mean accepting everything they do. But recognizing the fear behind the behavior allows you to see beyond the surface. Even so, one of the clearest ways to understand a person's true character is not to watch how they act when they are seeking attention, but how they behave when they hold power. The way someone treats people who can offer them nothing reveals a great deal about their character. Do they humiliate someone who makes a mistake? Do they mock the vulnerable? Or do they choose compassion even when they have the power to do otherwise? Real strength is not about crushing someone else. It is about having the ability to cause harm and still choosing restraint. A strong person can disagree without destroying the other person, correct a mistake without humiliating them, and behave kindly even when there is no reward to gain. Moments like these reveal more truth than anything a person says about morality. But instead of drawing a conclusion from a single action, it is important to observe whether the same behavior continues over time. Because what describes a person best is not one isolated moment, but the patterns they repeat. Someone who pulls away when a relationship becomes serious may fear abandonment. Someone who works constantly may be escaping the silence they would face if they stopped. Someone who speaks to everyone but never becomes truly close to anyone may be afraid of being deeply known. These behaviors are often not random. They are silent confessions that reveal where the person was hurt, how they learned to survive, and which pain they are afraid of experiencing again. Once you begin to notice these patterns, you take people's reactions less personally, because their anger, withdrawal, or need for control may have begun long before you entered their life. But believing that all these psychological signs exist only to help us understand other people would be a serious mistake. The same signs also act as mirrors held up to us. The things we constantly criticize, the subjects we avoid, the attention we seek, and the situations we try to control may also be telling us something about ourselves. So do not look only at the mask worn by the person in front of you. Pay attention to your own repeated behaviors as well, and ask yourself this question: what truth are my behaviors trying to hide? Understanding people is not about judging or manipulating them. It is about recognizing the fear behind the mask, the pain behind the anger, and the loneliness behind the performance. Because once you learn to look beneath surface behavior, you begin to see not only the hidden parts of others, but the hidden parts within yourself as well. And sometimes the person you finally come to understand is not the person in front of you, but yourself.